CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 meters. CQ, 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 calling CQ, calling CQ. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 meters. CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ. This is November, November 9, Delta, Delta. November, November 9, Delta, Delta. Norway, Norway 9, Denmark, Denmark, calling CQ40 and listening. CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ, 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 CQ calling CQ calling CQ. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 meters. CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 meters. This is November, November 9, Delta, Delta. November, November 9, Delta, Delta, CQ. CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ, CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 meter. CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ. This is November, November 9, Delta, Delta. November, November 9, Delta, Delta. Norway, Norway 9, Denmark, Denmark, calling CQ and listening. Again, November, November 9, Delta, Delta. CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ, 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 CQ calling CQ calling CQ. CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ. This is November, November 9, Delta, Delta. November, November 9, Delta, Delta. Norway, Norway 9, Denmark, Denmark. November, November 9, Delta, Delta, calling CQ.
November, November 9.
November, November 9, Delta Echo, I think it was. Here is Kilo 4 Kilo Zulu. Kilo Romeo 4 Kilo Zulu, calling and listening.
Okay, there's a couple of you out there, but we'll start with Kilo Radio 4 Kilowatt Zulu. Kilo Radio 4 Kilo Zulu, thank you for calling. Name here is Mike, Mexico India Kilowatt Echo. We're located about 25 miles straight south of downtown Atlanta in the city of Stockbridge, Georgia. And you got a good signal. I'll give you a better reading on the over. Go.
Okay, I think it was November 9. You'll have to give me the last part again. Here is Kilo Romeo 4 Kilo Zulu. First name is Kurt, Kilo India Romeo Kilo. Location is Orlando, Florida. Over, over.
Very good, Kirk. You got a good signal from Orlando. You're running about 5.8 on average, 5.8 on average here into Atlanta. The call sign is Norway, Norway 9, Delta, Delta. November, November 9, Denmark, Denmark. Double D's at the end. Delta, Delta is the ending there. And we're running a Flex Radio 6600, about 400 watts into a G5 RV, up about 80 foot, 102 foot long. Wonder how you're hearing us. Kilowatt Radio 4 Kilowatt Zulu, Norway, Norway 9, Delta, Delta.
Norway, Norway 9, Delta, Delta. From Kilo Romeo 4 Kilo Zulu. All right, Mike, very good. You're 5 by 959. Definitely a good copy. No problem whatsoever. Rick here is a Yaesu. Yaesu Fox Tango 101 Echo. Again, Fox Tango 101 Echo. And the antenna is a homemade vertical for 40 meters, 32 feet of aluminum pipe straight up in the air, and using the full enclosure as a ground plane. Over, over.
Well, very good. The old 101 Echo and the homebrew vertical are doing a good job for you. Had a little bit of fade there right at the right in the middle of that, but other than that, 100% copy. We're just messing around with our YouTube tonight, so we are broadcasting YouTube live right now. If you go to my webpage on QRZ, you'll see a link to my YouTube page where you'll be able to watch yourself live on YouTube or play it back a little later. But just messing around with that to see if we can get it to work. We've done it a couple of times and been pretty successful with it. So turned it on tonight. I think a lot of times it's fun for people to hear how they sound and maybe make changes based on that. So that's kind of what we're doing tonight, is just sitting here playing radio and messing with the computer at the same time. Best of both worlds. Kirk, over.
Okay, Mike, very good. Yeah, I was just talking to another gentleman in Georgia as well, just a little bit down from here. Very good. Yeah, I was just turning on the radio to see what was going on out there. I'm glad to see the short skips working this evening. I know Sunday afternoon, at least down here in Florida, the band was about as dead as it could be. Didn't hear a soul out there for probably 2 or 3 hours when it was in the afternoon between 2 and 5. Had to double check to make sure the antenna was connected. Over.
Yeah, band conditions have been pretty iffy the last week or two. And yeah, I've had times where I had to go outside and make sure the antennas were still up in the air.
All right, Mike, very good. All right, I'll let you try to pick up the other one that you may have heard. 7-3, thanks for the contact. And N9DD from Kilo Romeo 4 Kilo Zulu. 7. Good evening.
Alrighty, Kirk, thank you for the short QSO, and we'll look for you again. Kilowatt Radio 4, Kilowatt Zulu. This is November 9, Delta Delta, Atlanta, Georgia, QRZ.
Whiskey 5 Alpha Juliet Oscar, Bedford, Texas.
Is it Whiskey 5 Alpha Juliet Oscar, over?
QSL, Whiskey 5 Alpha Juliet Oscar. We are just west of the DFW airport, and I heard you talking about your YouTube channel. I'm watching that right now. And name here is Sean, Sierra Echo Alpha November, over.
Very good, Sean. Yeah, I see I got a couple of viewers out there, so I don't know who the second one is, but I know who you are, I guess. W5AJO and N9DD, you got a good signal. You're running about 5 and 7, it looks like. 5 and 7 here into Atlanta. The name is Mike. We're running a Flex Radio 6600, about 400 watts into a G5RB, up about 80 foot. So that's our operating conditions. And yeah, as you stated, we are running YouTube and just kind of messing with that. I think it's kind of fun to let people hear themselves, and I think they kind of like it too, over.
Yeah, Roger, Mike. That's a pretty cool idea. You're between a 5, dropping down to a 5.3. You're averaging 5.6 most of the time, though. So sounds like a great setup. I'm just running a JCS 91 out of the Go kit that I just finished building about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I've got a Chameleon hybrid micro inset halfway thrown up into the tree outside my apartment here. Still got some coax running through the sliding glass door. Just wanted to make one more quick QSL before I call it a night, over.
Well, very good. You're sounding good and doing good there with the rig. So the antenna there at the apartment is doing a fine job for you there, Sean. So, all right, we'll let you run, and glad we got you that one last QSO in the log before you called it a night. And we'll look for you again down the log. But if you've got the YouTube up, you know where it's at, and you can, you're about, I think we started around 8 minutes into it, so you can go back and watch it. Once I save it, it's there for you to go back and listen to. So, all righty, my friend, have a good evening, and we'll look for you later. Whiskey 5 Alpha Juliet Oscar over there near DFW and N9DD Atlanta.
All right, Mike, thanks so much for being out there. N9DD, W5AJO, 73.
7.
Uniform Hotel Romeo in it.
Uniform Hotel Radio, go ahead.
This is November 1, Uniform Hotel Romeo. Name is Mike, and I'm in Palm Bay, Florida.
November 1, Uniform Hotel Radio. Good signal, Mike. You're about a 5 and 7, 5 and 6 to 5 and 7 here into Atlanta. Name here is Mike as well, and good signal there, over.
Affirmative. You are 5 and 9, and you're up above that, but
Well, you're sounding good and doing good. Band is a little bit up and down there, so you're kind of dropping out there for a little bit and coming back, but you're sounding like you're doing pretty good, so that's always a good thing. And, you know, I don't think this is a QSO we can hold very long. Like I said, band conditions are kind of up and down, a lot of QSB tonight, but just wanted to get you in the log. And you're sounding good there from, looks like you're in Palm Bay, Florida. We'll send it back to you, Michael, and let you put the ribbons on it. November 1, Uniform Hotel Radio, Norway, Norway 9, Delta, Delta, Atlanta. '73s, Michael. This is November 9, Delta Delta, Atlanta, Georgia, broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia, and simulcasting on YouTube Live under November 9, Delta Delta. You can look on the link on my webpage or just go to YouTube and search my call, and we've got a live feed right now. So QRZ, November 9, Delta Delta. The mobile again, the mobile. Mexico 0, was it Sugar Kilowatt Papa?
Negative, Kilowatt Papa Delta, Kentucky Papa Delta Mobile. My name is Rob, Radio Oscar Bravo. Good morning from the UK, over.
Oh, very good, Rob. We got you about a 5 and 7. A lot of QSB tonight, so everybody's up and down a little bit. But Mexico 0, Kilowatt Papa Delta. Rob, you're doing a good job here stateside. Name here is Mike. We're sitting here in Atlanta, Georgia, and we are simulcasting YouTube Live right now, so you can look at your signal right now real time on YouTube by searching my call. And at the end of this session, I'll go ahead and save the video, and you'll be able to go back and search, and you'll be about 12 minutes into the video. But you're sounding good there from the UK. Good job, sir.
Mike 0 Kilo Papa Delta Mobile Charlie. Well, Mike, do 5 and 7 with me. We have static crashes and QSP obviously, but very, very nice to see you again. And I will look at the YouTube page, very interesting, and always a pleasure to hear you on 40 YouTube. Well, I'll let you carry on. Many people will call. Wish you best 73s, Mike, and we'll look forward to the next time. Norway 9 Delta Delta, and Mike 0 Kilo Papa Delta Mobile. 73, and good evening. Thank you.
73, Rob, and thank you for giving us a shout there from the other side of the pond. Always a pleasure, and hopefully we can work you again, and maybe we can figure out another band. We've got, this looks like number 3 on 40, so maybe we can do 20 or 80 or who knows, maybe 15 and 10 will start to come around here shortly. So 73s, and good morning. Mike 0 Kilowatt Papa Delta 73. This is November 9, Delta Delta, QRZ.
Whiskey 1, whiskey.
Whiskey 1, whiskey, question mark?
United Radio Tango.
Okay, Kurt, we got you up there in New Hampshire, but I still didn't get the call right. Kilowatt or Whiskey 1, whiskey. Give me the last letter. I'm starting to get a lot of noise down here. Give it to me again a couple of times, over.
Roger. Whiskey 1, whiskey.
All right, Kurt, we got you. There we are. Whiskey 1, whiskey Alpha. Kurt, did you? I got you in California, but you say you're in Maine, Roger.
Hi, Roger. Yes, I am operating remote in New Hampshire. My transmitter is in a town called Jennington, New Hampshire.
Very good. Well, you're doing good over the remote. What are you operating with remote, over?
I am using an IC 7300 up there, operating a Alpha Delta 40-meter model band. I pull up about 45 feet, running there for 100 watts. And the remote TX. Go ahead.
Well, you're doing a good job for 100 watts from New Hampshire all the way down here to Atlanta. Had to think where I was there for a minute. But you're sounding good. The 7300 is doing a good job, and we operate remote quite a bit. We run a Flex Radio 6600, and we have some friends. We contest actually with a remote station up there in Maine, and there's one down in Louisiana, a couple of places around that we operate with. So love to do the ham radio remote. It's quite an adventure and gives you a whole different opportunity to look at the band from a whole different side of the country in your case. So, all right, Kurt, we won't hold it, but just wanted to get you in the log. Whiskey 1, Whiskey Alpha, Norway 9, Delta.
That flex system is something I am looking at also. I'm going to, when Pacific Car comes here, it's not too far from there. I'm going to shoot over there, and I've been looking at that. So we're going to be looking at that to probably upgrade within the year, or at least maybe add an addition to the system for sure. So that's what we're looking at. But any else that's the final report, by the way, you're 5 9 points here in the really fast. My board down. I hope you get again.
All righty, Kurt, have a good evening. And that 7300 is a good radio, but I guess if I'm not going to tell you not to upgrade because I love my Flex. So, you're sounding good on the 7300, and those are mighty fine radios, especially at that price point. 73 and good evening. Whiskey 1, Whiskey Alpha, November 9, Delta is clear with you. And QRZ, Norway 9, Delta, Atlanta.
And then 9 Delta, KB2CHM.
Okay, I got Kilowatt Bravo 2, Charlie Hotel Mike. Is that a Roger?
QSO, KB number 2, CHM. My name's Stuart. I'm located in Churchville, just west of Rochester, New York. QSL?
QSL, Stuart, you got a good signal there out of New York. You're pretty much a 5 and 9 here into Atlanta. I've got a little bit of QRN and stuff static right now, but you're coming in over the top and sounding very, very good. If you've been listening, you probably already know, but I'll let you know again. We're running a YouTube live broadcast right now. If you search YouTube under my call, November 9, Delta, you'll find my channel. And there's one of the videos that's live right now, and that'd be you. And you're about 18 minutes is where you are in the video, over.
Yeah, I got that off, yeah. I did hear that. So, sounds good. You're definitely 5.9 plus. You got a good signal. Better than some of the other signals I've been hearing too well. There's a lot of noise, but it's got a fantastic signal up here in the Rochester, so I won't hold it. I'll pass it back to you, and I'm going to listen for a while. KB2CHM, Rochester, New York, back to you.
Thank you very much for listening. Feel free to subscribe and like if you'd want. But we are going to try to do this a lot more frequently and just give people a chance to hear themselves and, make changes to their radios or audio if they so choose. But I think people love to hear how they sound on the radio. So 73s, we'll look for you again. KB2, Charlie Hotel Mike, 73. This is November 9, Delta, QRZ.
November 4, Alpha Bravo Tango.
November 4, Alpha Bravo Tango. Thank you. This is November 9, Delta. Name is Mike. We're located in Atlanta, Georgia. I'll give you a better reading on the over.
Okay, the name here is Cleve, Charlie Lima Echo Victor Echo. And you're a solid 20 over S9 here in Millington, Tennessee. We're about 20 miles north of Memphis, about 10 miles east of the Mississippi River. And you're just booming in here tonight. That Flex Radio is doing a great job for you tonight.
Well, thank you, Cleve. You're doing very respectable down here into Atlanta. You're hitting me with a S9, sounding real good and coming through the static very, very well at the moment. A lot of QSB out there tonight, so that can change in a flash. But right now, you're sounding very, very good. We're running a Flex 6600, as you heard. We are running a Meritron amplifier, putting out about 400 watts right now into a G5RV. So that's our operating conditions here. N4 ABT Cleve, November 9 Delta Delta.
In November 9 Delta Delta N4 ABT. The rig here is an IC 7300 running barefoot through an LDG to a 3-roof and dipole antenna of about 30 feet. And it's oriented east and west, so you're pretty much off the end of it from me tonight. But I'll tell you what, you're doing a great job there. I've got your live feed up on your YouTube live feed up on the here beside me, and so. It's about 30 seconds behind the actual conversation, but it sounds great. I've never even thought of doing something like that. That's just a neat deal. I'll back out and let some other folks chat with you. This is November 4, Alpha Bravo Tango in Millington, Tennessee. 73 on yours.
Alrighty, Cleve. Thank you very much. And that 7300, that's a very, very good radio. I'm impressed with the sound and quality of those radios and what they do for the price point. So you're doing a fine business job with 100 watts there on the dipole. So 73, and we'll chat with you again. This is November 9, Delta Delta, Atlanta, Georgia, QRZ.
Whiskey America 3, Foxtrot Echo Tango.
Whiskey America 3, Fox Echo Tango. James, up there in PA, you got a big signal down here into Atlanta, at least a big sounding signal. I got to learn to look at the scope when you guys are calling. I'll give you a reading on the over, but you're sounding good. Name here is Mike, and we're near Atlanta. Over.
Okay, real fine there, Mike. NN9DD, WA3FET, like the transistor, field effect transistor. Yes, I was just tuning across the band and heard you describing the YouTube, and so I brought the live feed up here as well. And it's really interesting. Certainly very, very interesting. You got a great signal here. I'm also using the Flex 6600, and it's operating remote as well. And I'm using a Elecraft KPA 1500, which is also remote. And the station is up on a mountaintop in central Pennsylvania, about 20 miles from my home location. We're building this station, and it's quite a good location. Anyway, sounding great. You're peaking to about 20 dB over 9 on the very accurate calibrated Flex 6600 meter here, and sounding great. Really interesting. There's another fella that gets on Friday afternoons that does something similar. It's KC9VKV. He does not show a live feed, though. He does record it and then puts it on a couple days later. And I've also got on with him. His name's Jim as well. Anyway, back to you, and really interesting tonight to hear you doing this. November 9, Delta Delta. And we like to flex a lot here, too. It's the best radio for remote. WA3FET.
Whiskey Alpha 3, Fox Echo Tango, November 9, Delta Delta returning. Yeah, fine business, Jim. You're sounding really good, and you can look at the scope and see that you averaged somewhere around 10 over, peaking to close to 20 a couple of times there. So you're doing a fine business job with the remote. We're not running remote tonight. We're running from the home QTH here, but we do operate remote for contests and stuff. We've got I've got some friends with a company called BLoud.us, who have some remote stations located throughout the country, and we do contesting through several of those stations, depending on the contest, which station we use. But we do have a station up in Maine that I especially like that is very, very strong and quite fun to operate. So love to go remote, but we are operating local from our home here. And wonder, listening to that live feed, is my mic audio too loud? Do I need to bring my mic audio down on the live feed? Because I was listening to it the other day after the other one, and it was I was popping a little bit. So I've turned the mic gain down today on the video feed. I wonder if you could comment on that and see if I need to take it down a little more.
Okay, I didn't actually have my headphones on it right now. I'm just watching it, but it sounded pretty good to me when I heard it. I didn't think there might have been just a once in a while, but I can put the headphones back on, and I have it muted right now. I'm actually, that's a sort of an interesting setup you may be interested in here. The Flex, when you go through the PC audio remote, we've found that it sort of has some raspy qualities in it, and you don't seem to get the punch that you should. And so I have a W2IHY EQ Plus box, and then that's going to a remote rig box that then is going through the internet up to the mountain on a microwave link. And then at the mountain, there's another remote rig box, and then that's going to the balanced input of the Flex. And we find that's much better audio. It's much clearer and punchier than going through the PC audio there for remote. But the PC audio is okay. It's just that it has sort of a raspy quality to it, and it doesn't seem to have as much punch. But with the CQ Plus box and the remote rig boxes, the receive audio is somewhat better coming through the remote rig box too. I have it going through a stereo speakers and amplifier and subwoofer here, and it really sounds good when somebody has nice clean full audio like yourself there. But I'll put the headphones on and see if I can listen there. Now, I assume this is recorded, that I could go back later and actually listen to the session that you're doing live. I'm not sure if that's correct or not. And I've done a lot of contesting over the years myself at a station in Puerto Rico that I built up on a property I have. We use my friend's call Whiskey Papa 3 radio for many years, but it got destroyed in Hurricane Maria. And then I built another very big contest station here in Pennsylvania, Kilowatt 3 Charlie radio, but we took that down a couple summers ago, and we're building with some other friends a station up on the mountain right now. So we hope to have that going soon and be doing even better than what K3CR was doing. Anyway, great to hear you there, Mike, and I know there's others waiting, but I will put the audio on and see what it sounds like there. But it sounded good before. NN9DD, WA3FET remote.
WA3FET, November 9, Delta returning. Yeah, no, sounds like you've got quite a setup there, and we've messed with several different ways to pipe audio through, and right now we're just running the Flex audio straight through, PC audio, but we've had to spend a lot of time adjusting the both the computer settings as well as the radio settings to get it so that it puts out good audio that's not raspy and has punch and stuff. So we've probably spent 30 hours developing the audio chain, so to speak, that we use there. And it seems to do pretty good, but we've messed with outboard gear and pumped it through the computer just to kind of give us the signal that we needed so that it came out the other end of the remote sounded good. But you know, it seems to work for us, but you certainly sound good, and looks like you're running a full 3400 wide, and just sounding very, very good. And yes, as soon as I'm done tonight, I will shut the live feed down and go ahead and save this, and you will be able, usually within about 20 or 30 minutes, it renders it, and you'll be able to go back and view it. It'll be on my website, and it is called 40-meter QSOs with this frequency and time and date on it, and you'll be able to see it. And you're going to be right around, probably right around 25 minutes is when we started there. Okay, I'll send it back to you and let you put the ribbons on it and tell me if you heard any popping on the audio. We've turned it down significantly for the video from the last time we did this because it was loud. So it might be actually pretty good right now, but I just wanted to get some feedback, and you're strong, and I thought you'd be hearing it well. Thank you.
Oh, very good there, Mike. Yes, I did listen, and it sounds great. There's no popping. I have some very, very good stereo headphones I was listening through, and it sounds really good. I don't hear any popping. It's very, very clean audio coming through, so not a problem. And I did hear there's some delay, of course, and I heard my own voice coming through your system as well, and on the YouTube, and it sounded quite good as well. Very punchy and clear, and that's great. So good luck with the contesting and remoting. And yes, I do have a friend who does remoting from Maine as well, has a remote station, W2RE Ray, and I know there's several guys building remote stations up in Maine, so you're another one that I've heard about. Anyway, very good. Anyway, I'll let you go there, Mike, and a real pleasure to meet you, and you're doing a great thing here. It's always nice to experiment and try new things on ham radio for sure. And maybe you know about Jim there, KC9VKV, too, that does the thing on Friday. Okay, 73, and enjoy. We'll try to get in some other time, and I'll go and bring up the YouTube later there and listen to myself directly again. And N9DD, good luck with everything. Sounding great. Beautiful signal, 20 over 9 on the peaks. WA3FET now sounding clear. 73, Mike.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you for the feedback, and good luck to you as well in the contest season. Yeah, we normally operate as Whiskey 4 Lima during the contest. That's the owner of the stations, and we usually operate under that call, or maybe sometimes an occasional different one for WPXs, but hopefully we'll work you this season. Best of luck, and as you saw on the scope, you just keep climbing. You were pushing 20 over the whole last transmission. So 73, and good evening, and thank you. QRZ, anyone, anywhere. This is November 9, Delta, Atlanta, Georgia.
Kilo 2, America, Bravo.
Kilo 2, America, Bravo. Good signal. Name here is Mike. We're located in Atlanta. I'll give you a better reading on the over, but you're sounding good.
Hi, Mike. Name here is Robert here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in the 599. In for a moment and say good evening. Nice signal. Enjoyed all the prior conversation. Now you are coming in from Georgia, aren't you? Over.
Yeah, Robert. You're about a 5 and 7, and I've got QSB on you, so you're dropping down lower than that and coming up higher than that. But right now you're about a 5 and 7, and yeah, we're located about 25 miles straight south of the city of Atlanta in Stockbridge, Georgia. And you're sounding good there, my friend. Over.
Thank you very much. You're drifting a bit on me, so you're coming and going just a little bit. So I thought I'd pop in before I lost you. I know other people want to speak to you. Mike, very nice speaking to you. 73. And then 9, DD, K2 Alpha, Bravo. Look for you again, Mike.
73, Robert, and good night. Kilowatt 2, Alpha, Bravo, November 9, Delta, QRZ. Ending Tango. Is there a November 4 ending tango, a November 4 ending tango? Oh, man, you faded on me. I think it's Whiskey 4 Delta Bravo Tango, if I heard what I think I heard. Whiskey 4 Delta Bravo Tango, or anything close to that. Go ahead. Negative copy at this time. Try back in a little bit, because I did hear you. I just don't know what the call was, and right now you faded on me. Okay, QRZ, everybody. November 9, Delta Delta.
Alpha Charlie 2, Radio Yankee.
Alpha Charlie 2 radio again?
Yes, good evening from Dallas, Texas. My name is Alex. Your signal is very strong in Dallas, 5-9 plus, yeah.
Thank you, Alex. You're a good 5-9 here into Atlanta. I think I'm missing the last letter of the call. I got Alpha Charlie 2 radio question mark, over.
It's Alpha Charlie 2 Radio Yankee. Radio Yankee, that's my call sign.
There we go. We got you. Alpha Charlie 2 Radio Yankee, November 9, Delta Delta. Thank you, Alex. You're sounding good. About a 5-9 here into Atlanta, and you're the second contact into Texas tonight, and both have been very strong. So the band must be in decent shape going that way. Well, we're not going to hold it, though. We're trying to put a few logs in the contact. We are running a YouTube feed. If you go to YouTube and search under my call, November 9, Delta Delta, you'll see my live feed. And you can hear yourself or go back and listen to the video. You're about 36 minutes in is your call. But we'll look for you again and say 73s and let you put the ribbons on it.
Okay, yeah, I'll check your channel. Best wishes from Texas. The 73 from ATQ, all right.
73, QRZ, November 9, Delta Delta.
Kilo Charlie 1, Kilo Lima.
Is it Kilo Charlie 1, Kilo Lima Lima?
Roger, Kilo Charlie 1, Kilo Lima up here in Boston, Massachusetts, Deal 5-9.
Oh, very good. Is Austin your name?
Yep, Austin here in Cambridge, Mass. Somewhat watching your YouTube feed as well. You guys are doing a cool thing here. Enjoying it.
Very good. Yeah, no, you dropped there at the end of that one, but no, I just wanted to make sure I had your call right, and I guess I always double check it with the name if I'm doubting it. So we got you in the log, Kilowatt Charlie 1, Kilowatt Lima Lima. You're about a 5-7 to 5-9, just a lot of QSB on my end tonight. I think 40 is thinking about trying to give up, but it's still hanging tough, so we're going to keep playing.
I'm having no complaints. More city around the city. I got a lot of noise, but you're playing very strong. So I figured, hey, I'd give it a shot and see if I could reach you. And I'm definitely gonna hop back into the YouTube and see how I sound, see how I'm getting out. So the distance is about 950 miles, and I'm always happy with that. No complaints here. I'm still in New Ham. I got my license back in January, so I got about 2 or 3 dozen. So all fresh and new to me. So any contact from me is a good one. So you guys, when you get back, you get a few more contacts.
All righty, Austin, thank you very much. And 73, and congratulations on getting your license. Heck, 9 months in, you're almost a veteran. But hopefully we'll chat with you again when band conditions are a little more stable, because when you go back and listen, you'll see that you're up and down, and just kind of the way it goes sometimes at night. KC1 KLL 73, November 9, Delta Delta, Atlanta, Georgia, QRZ. Mike Sierra, or 5 Mike Sierra, 5 Sierra.
Kilowatt Alpha 5, Mike India Sierra, Milton in Slidell, Louisiana.
All right, Milton, Kilowatt Alpha 5, Mike India Sierra. Thank you, good signal. You're about 5-8 to 5-9 here into Atlanta. The name is Mike, over.
You are a good solid and 9 in Slidell, just about 35 miles north of New Orleans. Good evening to you, and 73.
Alrighty, yeah, no, you're doing good. You were about a 5.6 to 5.7 that time, so band is all over. But thank you for giving me a show. We're going to keep going and see how many we can get in the log here in the next few minutes. 73, QRZ, November 9, Delta.
Kilo Echo 6, Tango United Hotel, California.
Is it Kilowatt Echo 6, Tango United Hotel?
QSO, name's Scott, Southern California. You sound great, California.
Thank you. Glad to hear that. We're just running a G5 RV. We are putting out about 400 watts from a Maritron amplifier with our Flex Radio 6600. But you're sounding good from California, my friend, as well, Scott. Give me another transmission. I'll give you a reading.
Okay, yeah, you're tickling over 5.9, about 5 over, and just got on 40 meters, and you're the first call I made. I've been working some gremlins out of the system on my 40-meter 2-element, and seems that it's working now. Over.
Yeah, no, it's doing good. You're about a 5.8, pushing close to a 5.9 here into Atlanta. I don't know if you heard some of our conversations. We're running a YouTube live feed right now. On YouTube, if you go and search my call, November 9, Delta, you'll see my channel, and you can click on there and you'll see the feed that's live. And as soon as I'm done transmitting tonight, I'll shut it down and save it. And usually within a few minutes, you'll be able to go back and listen to it again. And you're going to be about 41 minutes or so roughly into the video. And you can hear how that 2-element sounds here into Atlanta, but you're doing good.
Okay, I sure appreciate it. I never have enjoyed listening to my own voice. It always sounds like it's somebody else. But thanks for what you're doing, Michael. Have a great evening. 73 from California. God bless.
Sounded good from California. 7-3. QRZ, November 9, Delta, QRZ.
November 9, Delta. Do you copy Victor Alpha 4, Alpha Charlie Mobile?
Is it Victor Alpha 4, Alpha Charlie?
That is correct, and I'm mobile heading to work for midnight, and I was listening and scanning around, and there you were.
Well, you got a good signal from the mobile there, Leonard. Victor Alpha 4, Alpha Charlie. You're about 5.8 here into Atlanta. Over.
Oh, very good. You're about the same. No problem copying you at all. I don't have a whole lot of fade out on you. I do get a few areas I will be coming up to that get noisy, but no fault on your part, that's for sure. But good signal into Winnipeg, Canada tonight. QRZ says, I go by my middle name, Mark. It makes no difference what you call me, but I usually go by Mark, like Alpha Romeo Kilo, and like I said, I'm on my way into work and traveling along here, and you sound really good up in Canada tonight.
All righty, Mark. Well, you drive safe, and we put you in the log as Mark, and you're doing good there from Winnipeg with your mobile. Very, very impressive for 40 meters. You sound great, sir. Well, we're going to keep rolling and see how many we can log. So 73 is Victor Alpha 4, Alpha Charlie, Norway 9, Delta. Put the ribbons on it, Leo, or Mark.
All right, very good. I'll get that and throw it up on QRZ and send me a note as the time and date we talked. I can confirm it if that's what you need, and I don't mind keeping track of it, but can't do it while I'm driving. So 73, have a good night.
73, Mark. QRZ, Norway 9, Delta. Again, QRZ, November 9, Delta, Norway 9, Delta. Again, November 9, Delta. There's a couple of you in there. You're light and on top of each other, so spread it out a little bit, and we'll pull one of you out. I'm starting to get splatter from down below as well there, guys. Let's put out a CQ. CQ40, November 9, Delta, November 9, Delta, CQ40.
Whiskey 5, Sugar Lima Sugar.
Whiskey 5, Sugar Lima Sugar. Got you loud and clear there, Scott. Nice signal. 5-9 here into Atlanta. Name is Mike.
Roger, Mike. Got you also. 5-9. 5 and 9. Great signal here in San Antonio, Roger.
Thank you for the signal from San Antonio. We're running a YouTube live feed tonight, just kind of playing around, seeing if we can make it work, and it seems to be doing a good job for us. You're about 45 minutes into my video, so if you go to YouTube and search my call, November 9 Delta Delta, you'll see a live feed, and it will become a saved video after I'm done this evening. And you can go back and hear yourself there, over.
Roger, Roger. Appreciate that. We'll check it out. Let's see. November 9 Delta Delta, Whiskey 5 Sierra Lima Sierra, 73.
73, Scott, and have a good evening. Whiskey 5 Sierra Lima Sierra, November 9 Delta Delta, 73. QRZ, anyone, anywhere. Ending November.
Roger that, that's a Kilo India 5.
Okay, let me make sure I got the call right. Is it Kilo India 5 Echo Tango Norway? Okay, Alan. Yeah, we got you in the log. You're about a 5 and 6 to a 5 and 7, but there's also, I got a high noise level right now, and also some QRM from below. So it's a little tough to copy you, but I do have it. Kilowatt India 5 Echo Tango Norway, Alan in Texas, 73, and thank you. You're about 46 minutes and 30 seconds, or 47 minutes into the video. So when I save it tonight, that's where you can go look, and you should be able to hear yourself, over. 73, Kilowatt India 5 Echo Tango Norway, November 9 Delta Delta. QRZ, anyone, anywhere? CQ, CQ40, CQ40, November 9 Delta Delta, Norway 9 Delta Delta, November 9 Delta Delta, CQ. Again, there's somebody. You're very, very weak into me right now. Very, very light. Try it again. Oh, I just cannot pull that out. Try it one more time. Let me give myself a little volume here and see if we can fight to pull it out. Okay, give it to me one more time. Give me the call 2 times, and we'll see what we can do. Sorry, old man. I think it's got a papa in it, but that's the best I can give you. Try back here in a little bit. We're going to go for about 10 more minutes and then pull the plug. But try me here in 10 minutes, and hopefully bank conditions will change. QRZ, this is November 9 at Delta Delta, Norway 9, Delta Delta, Atlanta, Georgia. CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ, 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 CQ calling CQ calling CQ. This is November 9, Delta Delta, Norway 9, Denmark, Atlanta, Georgia calling CQ. Again, November 9, Delta Delta. Okay, guys, let's walk it up one. Let's go to 7181, and try to get away from this QRN. 7181, I'm headed up. 7181. QRZ, this is November 9 at Delta Delta. November 9 at Delta Delta, QRZ. CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ, 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 CQ calling CQ, calling CQ. This is November 9, Delta Delta, November 9, Delta Delta, QRZ.
Kilo Delta 2, Quebec, Alpha Quebec.
LKM.
Well, that one's not hard. Kilo Delta 2, Quebec Alpha Quebec. Big signal, Gary. 59 plus here into Atlanta. Name is Mike.
Hi, Mike. This is Gary in Buffalo, New York. I just turned the radio on to see who was around, and there you were. So here we are talking. Back to you.
Very good, Gary. Yeah, no, we're just playing around here this evening with YouTube Live, and we're putting a live feed out there for people to look at themselves on the internet and look at themselves when I save the video. So under my call sign, November 9, Delta Delta on YouTube, you'll see a live feed right now. You're about 51 minutes into it when I save it, and you'll hear it, but you got a very good signal. We're running a Flex Radio 6600 into a G5 RV, about 80 foot in the air, running about 400 watts. Over.
Well, you have an outstanding signal. You're 5'9" coming into Buffalo, New York here. I have an ICOM 7610 into an Ameritron 811H, so I'm running about 500 watts into a 43-foot vertical. So good signals all around. I'm glad to hear I'm on YouTube. Actually, I've been on YouTube before. If you look up my band, there's some YouTubes of us playing, including back in 1981 at Max's Kansas City in New York City. So we're sort of an antique, living dinosaurs, as it were. The band is called The Vores, V-O-R-E-S, as in carnivore. We're sort of a post-punk band, and you can actually see me as a spry young little kid. Now I'm an old guy. So anyhow, long time ago, YouTube, great. Also, I did a piano destruction as an artist. That's also on YouTube under Monsters of Nature and Design. Look that up as well. So back to you.
Very good, Gary. Sounds like you're almost a celebrity with all the videos you got up there. Congratulations. But now you're doing a good job there from Buffalo, and sounding good here. The 7610 is doing well, as is the, I think you said a homebrew vertical, but the vertical is doing well as well. All right, we won't hold it. We're going to keep moving and see if we can get a couple other calls here. We're going to shut down in about 8 minutes and call it a night so that we can get some stuff done tomorrow. So we'll say 73s and let you tie the ribbons on it. Kilowatt Delta 2, Quebec Alpha Quebec, Norway 9, Delta Delta.
73 KD2QAQ out of here.
73 QRZ, anyone, anywhere, November 9, Delta Delta. Again.
78.5 UTK, Tamale Town.
Okay, it's a WA5 and it ends with, is it Tango Tango, Tamale Town?
Yep, WA5 Uniform Tango Kilowatt.
Okay, WA5 Uniform Tango Kilowatt. Thank you very much, Mel. Name here is Mike. We're located just south of the city of Atlanta, Georgia, in Stockbridge, Georgia. And you got a good signal, about a 5 and 7, 57 here this evening into Atlanta. Over.
Okay, Mike. Well, here is San Antonio, alias Tamale Town. And you already looked me up on QRZ. But anyway, just kind of roaming around the band, seeing what all's going on tonight, and a little bit of activity here. Unfortunately, there's not many QSOs. It's all contests, good luck in the contest, nets and all this stuff, so sure be nice when the days of rag chews come back, go ahead.
Yeah, it seems like, well, especially on phone, it seems like if you want to rag chew, it seems like there's a lot of opportunity on 80, but everybody else is just rolling through them, kind of like what I'm doing tonight, so I'm guilty of it too. But yeah, no, it's fun. I get up on 80 as often as I can and just sit down with the boys and have a good conversation. But yeah, it seems like 40 you can get a few of them, but 20, and 15 and 10 when they're around are always thank you QRZ, thank you QRZ. So I understand what you're saying there, my friend. Over.
Yeah, I had fun with a guy tonight, but I don't guess he appreciated my humor. I don't think he liked my humor. And he's doing one of these things, running through as many of them as he could. And of course, everybody's 5'9". Even when you got to ask 3 or 4 times, what's your call sign, what's your location, and all this stuff, and then the 5'9".
You are 2x4. Made him sound like a piece of lumber. He didn't get it, huh? That's funny. That's funny. 2x4, you wouldn't really be able to have a conversation with him, would you? You can call me anything you want as long as you answer the questions and have a good conversation. You can tell me I'm 1x1. I don't care. Roger that. Yeah, when you say 2x4, it probably does give people a moment of pause, thinking, "What?" But yeah, you're right. In a contest, it's just you give out 1,500 5.9 QSOs, and most of them you're having to ask QRZ and what was your call 3 or 4 times, and that's not a 5.9 if you got to do that. Well, it's doing a very good job for you. I think you said a Shure 444. I used to have one of those a long time ago. I don't know where it's at anymore, but I still have the radio I ran it on. I kept my very first radio. I got licensed about 30 years ago and still have my Hot Water 101, which was my very first radio. Still have that, but I have no idea where the microphone ever ended up at. But we went out and we're trying to slowly amass vintage Hot Water 101 station. So we've got got a hold of a microphone that came from the factory, a factory issued microphone that would have been appropriate for the radio. We've got the external speaker. We're putting some eyeballs on a SB200 amplifier that would have shipped about that time as well. So just trying to get a full station up here and kind of keep the old glory days of the boat anchors alive. Over. Yep. No, this sounds good. Yeah, you were a little garbled right there at the beginning of that transmission. I don't know what it was. You were strong. There was a good signal, but it was a little garbled. It lasted about 2 seconds, and then everything went normal. So, don't know if you've heard that before. Don't know what it was. It didn't really sound like RF. I don't know what it was, but anyway, you went back to normal right after it. So everything uh, worked itself out, whatever that was. But I just wanted to let you know. But no, you're sounding good, and yeah, no, I love these old radios. I love my new radios, and I'll probably always use them 10 times more than I'll use the old radio. But it's to me, it's like you. I got licensed in high school back in 1980, and I'm gonna hold on to that radio forever, just because it's kind of special, and I guess it means something to me. So probably we've bought and sold 100 radios probably over the years, but we've always kept that one and probably always will. All right, Mel, well, we're going to let you go and see if we can get a couple more in the logbook here before we pull the plug and call it an evening, so we can get up bright and early and start the day tomorrow and get done the things that we need to do then. But it's been a pleasure chatting with you, and you got a good signal coming out of San Antone. So we'll let you put the ribbons on it, and we'll look for you again down the log. It's been a pleasure. Whiskey Alpha 5, Uniform Tango Kilowatt, November 9 at Delta Delta. Good night, Melvin. And yeah, that would be a Volkswagen Bug with a 50-pound radio mobile. Almost had to put new shocks in it, I bet. 73 and good night. QRZ, anyone, anywhere, November 9, Delta Delta, Atlanta, Georgia. CQ40, CQ40, anyone, anywhere. This is November 9, Delta Delta. Norway 9, Denmark, Atlanta, Georgia, QRZ. CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ. This is November 9, Delta Delta, November 9, Delta Delta, QRZ. Okay, 0 Kilo Mike again. Okay, November 0, Quebec Kilo Mike, thank you. November 9, Delta Delta returning. Got a good copy on you. I'll give you a better reading on the over, but the name here is Mike. We're located just south of Atlanta, Georgia, over. November 9, Delta Delta, Norway 9, Denmark, double N's, double D's. Well, very good. We're just sitting out here kind of playing this evening, having a few conversations, and playing with YouTube. We've got a YouTube live feed going right now, simulcasting this. So if you went to YouTube and searched November 9, Delta Delta, you'd see my channel. and you can just click on the live feed that's there, and you would hear yourself. You're about a minute and 5 minute 6 into the video, or an hour 5 hour and 6 into the video. So when I save it, you'll be able to go back and hear yourself. But you've got a good signal. We're running a Flex Radio 6600 into a G5 RV up about 80 foot there. Over. Well, your dipole is doing great, and that's 7,300. I keep hearing those things on the air, and every one of them sounds good. So yours is no different, my friend. Over. Nah, it sounds good. All right, we're going to let you go and see if we can get one or two more here in the logbook. We're going to shut down in about 3 or 4 minutes and call it a night. So 73 is Quentin, and thank you very much. November 0, Quebec King Mike. November 9, Delta Delta. We'll let you put the ribbons on it. Very good. Thank you much. QRZ, November 9, Delta Delta, November 9, Delta Delta, QRZ. CQ40, 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 November 9, Delta Delta, November 9, Denmark, Denmark, anyone, anywhere. Well, there was a tuner upper. We'll see if they're coming back. November 9, Delta Delta, Norway 9, Denmark, Denmark, QRZ. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this evening. For those of you who were following on YouTube, I will be saving that video here momentarily. So in probably 5 to 10 minutes, you'll be able to see it on my channel and go through and find yourself in there. But thank you all. Have a good night. This is November 9, Delta Delta, Atlanta, Georgia, 73, and good night. Was that WA1 Quebec Zulu X-ray? Alrighty, Dan. Yeah, no, I didn't shut it down yet, so you're going to be the last one. At about an hour and 9 minutes into it, you'll hear yourself there. If you go to YouTube and just search November 9, Delta Delta, you'll see a channel for that call, and you'll see the videos underneath it there. Or if you go to my QRZ page, you should see a link on the front page, which would also take you to the YouTube page. But sometimes I think that link doesn't work as well as I'd like it to. So if you just go to YouTube and go to the search feature there and go November 9, Delta Delta, it'll take you right to the page. Over. I know you're cutting out here. Very good, Dan. Whiskey Alpha 1, Quebec Zulu X-ray, November 9, Delta Delta returning. Yeah, the name here is Mike, Mexico, India, Kilowatt Echo Mike. And we're located just south of the city of Atlanta, Georgia, in Stockbridge, Georgia, about 25 miles straight south of downtown Atlanta. We're running a Flex Radio 6600, with about 350 watts out right now, it looks like, into a G5 RV, about 80 foot long, or 102 foot long, up about 80 foot. So that's our operating conditions here. And we're just playing around with YouTube tonight, just simulcasting. I think people sometimes like to hear what they sound like, and this gives them a chance to see how strong they were and excuse me, kind of hear what I hear, a few seconds delayed, or go back and listen to it a little bit later. But that's all we're doing tonight is just kind of playing with YouTube, recording some video, and posting it to the YouTube page so that people can hear themselves and see what they sound like on the radio. Over. WA1 QZX, November 9, Delta Delta. No, I'm fine. I don't have anything pressing to go to, and no definitive got to get up at a certain time. Just when the QSOs start to get slow or it's hard to hear people because the noise comes up, I'll pull the plug. But you're nice and loud, so no, I'm doing good. We are running a Ameritron ALS 600 solid state, just a 600 solid state radio. We do have it set up to band track so that we don't necessarily have to switch bands. So it allows you to do some running of it remote, but it doesn't have a tuner on it. So, and I don't have a resonant antenna, on every band. So it's a 80 G5RV cut for 80 meters. So you can do all right on 80 and a couple of others. But so it's hard for me to remote with this setup because the antenna is a compromise. But I do operate remote with some other radios that are flexes as well that are located throughout the country. That a friend of mine has a business and does some remote radio. He's new into the marketplace to compete with some of the other people out there. And, on those radios, we operate full remote, antennas remote, amplifiers remote, as well as flex radios remote. And he's got, I think he's coming up on a dozen or maybe more stations than that they'll be coming live online here in the next couple of months. And he's excited, and I love playing with his radios. So those we operate the KPA 1500s or the KPA 500 is essentially the same thing if you want a lower power, lower price option. And that radio plays very, very well remote, or that amplifier plays very, very well remote. Over. WA1 Quebec Zulu X-ray November 9 Delta returning. Yeah, fine business. That off-center fed dipole. I used to run those antennas exclusively, and I've always had very, very good luck with those antennas. And I agree with you. The best bang for your buck is to build antennas and not amplifiers. Every time you double power, so if you go from 100 to 200 watts, you pick up 3 dB. You go from 200 to 400, you pick up another 3 dB. You go from 400 to 800, you pick up another 3 dB. You go from 1800 to legal limit, you pick up another 3 dB. So you can spend about $5,000 and pick up 12 dB, or you can spend some money on your antennas and pick up a good chunk of that through antennas. And then when you add an amplifier to it, it's just crazy what your effective radiated power can be. So, I agree with you. The best money you can spend is on antennas, and keep finding a way to improve them, because it's a whole lot cheaper to put up wire or metal than it is to buy tubes. WA1 Quebec Zulu X-ray November 9 Delta Delta. Yeah, no, my original call was November 9 Delta Foxtrot Delta, and that was the call I got issued back in 1980, I guess, when I got licensed. And I wanted to kind of keep it similar, but I wanted to get I really wanted a 2x1, but those are hard to get considering there's only very limited number available for each number. I think what did I figure out once? There's like 600, roughly 600 or something you can get it for each number. And, I don't like waiting in line for people to die. That just doesn't seem very nice. So this one was available, and it kept my N's and my D's. I gave up my F, but I always had 2 D's, so I went with this, and I just kind of like the way it rolls. It's great for CW. It's good for voice, and it's kind of unique, and some people get it right away, and some people think I'm stuttering and ask again for what it was, but it works for me. But yeah, no, I agree with you. You know, my dad, we were playing with NFEDs. He lives in an antenna restriction or antenna restricted community out in Arizona. So we've been messing with different antennas, trying to hide them in the house, in the eaves, in the attic, in the trees. And we were messing with end feds that we were making into verticals. We had varying success. I mean, nothing's as good as a dipole or a beam stuck up there in the air nice and high. But sometimes you have to find a different way to get on the air when conditions don't support you doing it. So I've been trying to talk him into just sending me his radio, or I guess I got him his radio. I should have just made him park it here because he got a Flex 6400 as well, same as you. And I keep telling him he should just send it back to me, and I've got several antennas up, so he can just sit here and run his 100 watts on some different antennas that are longer and higher and a whole lot more adaptable than what he's got there in his antenna restricted community in Arizona. So maybe one of these days we'll get him to do that, and then he can just remote in with his computer and have a much stronger signal and probably enjoy it a lot more. He's been licensed. Well, I guess we got licensed within a couple months of each other back in the early 80s. So keep trying to talk him into it. One of these days, maybe he'll say yes. WA1 QZX and N9DD returning. Yeah, no, I operate remote regularly, but I never use my own radio when I do it. A couple of friends of mine have a business, and they just started remoting radios all over the country, and even outside of the country now. And they're remoting radios, and fortunately, I get to play with them on occasion, and we do some contesting from a couple of them. And yeah, they have a station up in Maine that is just an amazing station. They've got, I think we've got three towers up there, and they're going to put up a couple more that are going to hold some 80 and 160 meter four squares, and some 2 meter and 6 meter antennas, and we've got stacked 40 meter beams, and of course 20, 15, and 10 stacked as well, and it's really quite an amazing station. And I agree with you that I think that's the way it's going to go, because I think for a lot of people living in the middle of the city but still wanting to be an active ham radio operator, we got to find a way to get them. And I think my friend's got a good business model that they should do very, very well, and give people some excellent equipment to go chase DX with, or even do some contesting on the weekends. So I think that's the way it's going to go, and it's going to be really quite exciting, and glad to be on the ground floor with it. And I think Flex is the absolute right platform to go with. I think K3 makes a good radio. The ICOM 7300 and 7610 are good. And there's a couple other manufacturers of software-defined radios, Anon and the Sun Microsystems, that they all put out good equipment. I prefer the Flex just because of its easy use, but that doesn't make it right for everybody. So there's plenty of options, and I think it's probably going to keep on growing. I guess Yaesu's entered the market now with it as well, so everybody's got a choice. Yeah, I agree. For the most part, it's plug it in and set up your SmartLink account and go. It just works as long as your audio settings in your computer are normal. Everything works good. You know, the update problem where it keeps changing the drivers or messing with the drivers every time Windows updates is a little frustrating, but you get good at fixing it. And, you know, I know exactly how to do it and what to do and how to go in and do it. So I do it for myself and several other people when it happens. And get them all fixed up. I meant to tell you, with our contesting setup up in Maine, we do run CW with keys remote. You just need to set up a WinKey server. You basically need to put a PC at the remote end and put a WinKey server up on it, and then you can run your put a WinKeyer in on the remote side, hook it to your PC, get the COM ports all set up right, and you can run WinKey, or you just run through the WinKeyer with a paddle or a key, whatever your preference is, and it'll work and everything. You know, they're getting tone out of it through the WinKey box. So you can do it that way. You just need to have a PC on the remote end and put a WinKeyer server on the computer, and it'll work just fine there. Over. You need to have a physical WinKeyer, so you would have to get the physical WinKeyer box that you'll buy. I don't know. I think they're 100, 150 bucks. I don't really know what they cost. I'm not a CW guy, but you would actually put a WinKeyer box and connect that to your computer on the remote side, and then at the station side, you just have the WinKey server. So you physically need a box at the at your home or at your remote QTH wherever you're operating from. You need to have the WinKeyer box, and that plugs into the computer, and then your key plugs into the WinKey box. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you're going to see a lot more people sharing radios and stuff just because you can have a club and you can have the Phoenix Downtown Amateur Radio Club, where there's obviously no antennas or radios, but they can set up something out in the desert and have two or three flex radios and let the club members use them and give them passwords, and everybody can get on the air and have respectable radios and remote them and have a fraction of the cost on them. So I think that is going to be something that you'll see a lot more. But yeah, if you wanted a website to look at that company that my friends are starting, it's BeLoud, BELOUD.us, BeLoud.us. And that's the remote stations that they're going to be setting up. And they're just in the final processes of getting their software finalized and should be rolling out here towards the end of the year and start renting radios and putting radios on the air. But you can see some of the stations that they've got signed up to go live with, and it's really quite impressive. So BeLoud.us online, and you'll see what I get to play with from time to time. Roger, Roger. Yep, very good. But yeah, take a look at their website and you can kind of see what they're up to and doing, and it's certainly very impressive. All right, well, you took a fade that time, and it's pushing up here towards 1 o'clock, so I'm probably going to pull the plug. But it's been a pleasure, Daniel, and hopefully we can do it again. But yeah, look into the WinKeyer and physical WinKeyer on your end and a WinKeyer server on the other end, and you should be able to use your key live. We do it all the time in contests, or the CW ops do it all the time in contests. I'm not going to say I'm one of them, but I know it works, and I've seen them get it done. If you need help getting it set up, let me know, and I can see if I can get some documentation from the guy who sets them up, or even get you in touch with him, and he can walk you through it. But we can get you some help one way or the other. All right, well, we'll let you put the ribbons on it tonight, and I think we're going to pull the plug after this and call it an evening. But it's been my pleasure, and hopefully we can do it again. Whiskey Alpha 1, Quebec Zulu X-Ray. Daniel up there in Tewksbury, Massachusetts. November 9, Delta Delta. Mike, Atlanta, Georgia. 73s and good night. All right, good night, and 73, November 9, Delta Delta, QRT.